Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Oscar Delahoya, Gervonta Tank Davis. Get this. According to Oscar Delahoya, Gervonta Tank Davis hasn't sold 100 pay-per-view buys yet. Wow. Okay, according to the Golden Boy promoter, Gervonta Tank Davis is yet to sell 100,000 pay-per-view buys in one event as a regular on the paid platform, according to the promoter. Delahoya speaking as talks got underway for Davis to fight Ryan Garcia could have killed negotiations before they began. The Golden Boy boss seemingly put his foot in his mouth by angering Leonard Ellerby by saying that he hasn't sold enough pay-per-views. Gervonta Tank Davis pay-per-view sales. This time Ellerby won't be happy that Delahoya has effectively confirmed rumors that Davis sold just 50,000 for his clash with Mario Barrios. Everybody has an argument on who's the A side, who's the B side. Delahoya told Fight Hype, he said, look, as Ryan's promoter, he does sell. He is popular. With the right dance partner, you can create a mega fight that happens to be with Gervonta Tank Davis and vice versa. I mean, Gervonta Davis can get on pay-per-view, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's selling hundreds and thousands of homes. I know that they're not past 100,000. I know that for a fact. So does he want to continue fighting on a low-level pay-per-view, or does he want to create a mega event with Ryan Garcia? That's the only dancing partner that he can create special event with. So it's a matter of choices. The great part of the whole event is Ryan wants to fight, Gervonta wants to fight, and I know Mayweather wants to fight. I want to fight, and both networks, Showtime and DAZN, want to fight. So I think there's room to get everybody to sit down and figure this out. There's too much money involved. Such a great show. Let me counterpunch. I think this is a war of ego and an unfortunate choice in time. And what do I mean by that? Well, the ego comes in with the promoters and the fighters. They both think their fighters are A-side. That's going to be a problem. Okay, that's ego. Second, let's face it, these guys at 135 are not making the money that they normally make in yesteryear. In fact, the question is, would they make that at welterweight? More than likely they won't. Because if we still haven't made Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, what makes you think that Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis is going to be a mega fight? There's no money anymore. This isn't the 90s. This isn't the early 2000s. Things have changed a lot. Why have they changed? Well, they've changed because you have fighters with a name, and the names don't really mean anything because they haven't fought anyone. See, you have guys like Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya. You had smaller fighters like Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales, and even Prince Asim Ahmed. But those guys fought each other. Juan Manuel Marquez was in the mix. You needed guys like that. Kenny McKinney, Kevin Kelly. See, these type of dudes, Junior Jones. When you had those type of fighters, you had actual competition, but you knew where guys lined up and you knew how important guys were. Okay, and you knew what they meant to the division because you knew where to stack them in the division. You knew, hey, okay, Marco Antonio Barrera is a beast because he beat this guy and this guy and this guy. Well, Eric Morales beat this guy that beat that guy. Then you have Juan Manuel Marquez. Okay, Juan, he beat Barrera. Those type of fights, we don't have that in the lightweight division at all. We don't have that at 135. We don't have that at 140. We have one fighter fighting one other fighter, and that's it. We don't have a match off. We don't have a tournament style. And it's sad to even say tournament style because we don't need that if everybody was fighting at everyone anyway. That's why we don't have it. These guys haven't built anything tangible based off their ability. This is all social media, and I think social media is, in fact, killed boxing. Why? because you got more bumping of your gums, you got more cap, you got more verbal fighting than anything. And verbal fighting isn't really fighting. It's just trying to see how smart you are with insulting the other person. And see Oscar De La Hoya saying that to Leonard Ellerbe, another guy with a fistful of pride. Do you think he's going to like the idea of you saying, well, that fighter ain't this and that fighter ain't that? Yes, in fact, that may make him turn around and walk the other direction and do what he was doing. And that's nothing. That's getting Gervonta Tank Davis fights that nobody wants to see. Fights that, yeah, we pretty much knew that he was going to win. Same for Oscar De La Hoya. And De La Hoya really should be more ashamed of himself than anybody. Leonard Ellerbe is not a boxer. He's always been a promoter or a manager or a guy behind the scenes. But he's actually been a fighter, and he actually knows what it takes to become one of the best pound-for-pound cash cows. Why? Well, it takes a little bit of God-given talent. It takes hard work, dedication. It takes promotion. But it takes you getting your fighter in the ring, and that really falls in the line of hard work and dedication. Okay? So once we're looking at De La Hoya with, hey, I've fought Obakar, Felix Trinidad, Ike Corte, Fernando Vargas, Sugar Shane Mosley, and then you go and get promote a fighter that did none of those things, how would you expect him to do what you did back then? Counterpunch. None of these guys want to do it the hard way anymore. That's why there's no money. There's no money generated because there's nothing that they've done to generate money. There's no fights that they were spectacular in. Did it take sacrifice? Of course it did. Did it take an ass whooping here and there? Of course it does. But that's what it takes to become what you want to be. And if these guys are trying to be like a Mayweather or a De La Hoya, they got to get their ass out there and fight. But if they're protected from promoters because the promoters feel that they've done enough, they're fooling themselves. Why? Because they know what it takes. You ever heard the saying, tough times make hard men? Okay? And then hard men make tough times small? Right? And then they give birth to kids that don't have a tough time. So, what is it? Good times make less men or weak men. That's exactly what's happening. See, Oscar De La Hoya fought all these guys. Floyd Mayweather fought all these guys when he was younger. A lot of these guys did what they had to do. And then now they're bringing up a generation of fighters that do none of that and wonder where the hell is the money going. That's the problem. That's what's going on with the sport of boxing right now. That's why it's only $1 million, $2 million instead of 15 million, 5, 10 million. That's what's happening. Then you only have certain fighters getting certain amounts of money. But why is that? Because those fighters are actually fighting the people the fans want to see, i.e. Canelo, i.e. Joshua. But other than that, that's it. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Oscar De La Hoya accusing Gervonta Tank Davis that he is not selling like he claims to be. Please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!